Hello everyone and welcome back to SAFC Fan TV. Sunderland have just drawn 1-1 away to Peterborough United. Conrad, I'll kick off with yourself. I thought we were stronger than I initially expected us to be, but that was a very tight affair.
Yeah, it was. I think I said a couple of times during the game, it could have gone either way, really, on there. Just a bit of class from either team. I thought once we equalised, we were by far the better team and the only one that was likely to win it at that point. It just seemed like we struggled. Once we came out for the second half, we didn't quite come out with the same urgency as, right, you need to keep this defensively tight, and we sort of let them dictate play for a little bit of the game, I thought. Yeah,
Jacob, was it a decent point in the end, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, if you offered me that before kickoff, Jack, I would have taken it. I think it was a pretty cagey affair throughout the 90 minutes, to be honest. I thought first 45 minutes, there wasn't really much in the game. And I thought the tactical substitutions from Darren Ferguson in the second half, I think, helped them a lot. I think they were getting Dembele and Shimodics is the guy's name, is it? I think it is. More on the ball second half. And
Moron? Yeah. Who's Moron?
More Shimodics, more on the ball. That's what I was meant to say. No, but yeah, it worked in their favour. It was a well taken finish. Was McFadzean fouled in the build up? Debatable, but we should have been a lot more stronger on our positional play on that front. But well taken free kick from McGeady. It was probably going to be a set piece anyway that was going to rescue us a point in that game. So, yeah, we'll take it at the end of the day. Listen, it's still in our own hands with, I think it's 8 games we've got left now. So, yeah, it's just about how much we really want it.
Yeah, I largely echo what you say. I mean, you can look at that McFadzean foul, and it'll be nice to see it again to see if he was fouled, because I didn't really get much of a chance to see it, and I like the... I'd like to see it again, but I think Conrad, more importantly, we could have done a little bit more. I thought Thompson did well to find Dembele when the ball fell to him in the box, and Dembele took his goal well. But do you think we could have done a little bit more to cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, he pounced on the loose ball in that sort of ward, and McFadzean sort of getting tangled. But then he ran across 09, who didn't step out. He ran across Winchester, who didn't step out. He ran across Sanderson, who didn't step out. And Power had been dragged out of position to whoever was on the edge of the box, which allowed just a simple ball through to Dembele to put it in. So it was sort of like, yes, Power was at fault for not sort of tracking his man, but I don't think any of them really covered themselves in glory in that moment. They let them run right across the defence and just find the gap to Dembele. Don't think Burge could have done much about the finish. It was just first time shot into the far corner. But I mean, we got back in the game. That's all that matters in the end. Normally, maybe under a different regime, heads would have dropped. We would have just been like, here's time to concede a second, a third at this point on here and really sort of throw it away. But we did well. We got back in the game. The free kick, it wasn't exactly in the corner, like we said on the stream. I don't think the keeper did very well. He sort of dived underneath the ball. They kept showing the angle from like end to end, and it wasn't in the corner by any means. But hey, if you put them on target, the keeper has a shocker, you're going to score.
Mm. I think, and Jake kind of touched on this, but it's something that I really agreed with, that it had to be a goal, like a set piece, to get us back in that game. Not just we had every intention, we had the battle, we had a mindset to get back in the game. But in terms of quality, we didn't seem to really create nothing that springs to mind. I mean, of course, I did out of the game a few times to sort my connection out, but we didn't have any real key chances, it seemed, throughout the game. So I think it had to be something, like a free kick, to get us back in the game. Just to touch on the subs, though, I mean, Jacob kind of mentioned it there, Conrad, with them that I think that their subs played it in their favour really well. They really changed the game. But we had 5 today, didn't we? What did you make of them, Conrad?
I agree with what Jacob was saying about. I think we said in the game as well that it seemed to be both teams had put out this team, this sort of lineup with a backup one in mind on the bench of how they would then change the game. So Peterborough did just that. After a while, they went, right, this is it's not that it's not working, but let's change this up. And that was Dembele and Brown coming on there. And for us, we used our substitutions to change the team and react to that. So Dembele came on, and that was when Peterborough had their best part of the game. And then when we made our 4 substitutions, and even Scowen a few minutes later on, we then looked by far the better once we'd reacted to their sort of their change in team. So it was an interesting one. It was like 2 teams that had 2 teams within them, if you know what I mean, for today's game.
Yeah, Jake, what did you make of our substitutions then?
It was obviously great to see Denver Hume back. I think he needs some fitness in the first team now, going into the final 8 games. I think he could be a big difference down that left-hand side, potentially, because you'd expect him to come in from McFadzean straight away. McLaughlin for Leadbitter was a bit of a strange change. Personally, I would have liked to have seen
power in the midfield.
Yeah, I think Diamond would have been a better option, injecting some more pace in the final third. But yeah, overall, I thought Gooch did okay on the right-hand side. I think he used his physicality to great effect against their left back. So, yeah, I think it once again another good tactical decision from Johnson. I think it's the first time in a matter of games we've seen him throw like all of his substitutions all on at once. It's very rarely we've seen Johnson do that, to be honest. But I think O'Brien for Stewart, I think, was the right call, but I think it could have been done earlier, because I think O'Brien understands his game more and the link-up play with Wyke a lot better than what Ross Stewart does. But still, I think Stewart's a decent player. It's just hard for him to settle in this league at the moment.
I mean, I was quite pleased to see Stewart come in, especially alongside Wyke. I think Wyke works well with the strike partner, and I think that's why he tends to do better when he's got Aidan O'Brien on the pitch, who can kind of relieve him certain responsibilities, such as getting a bit deeper and running the channels and such. But it didn't really work with Stewart and Wyke today. We didn't have much of an outlet. I thought we always looked to go for that long ball to Stewart when he was on the pitch, and we weren't. Nothing was really coming off. Jim, I can see one in there, but I know Conrad, you wanted in just beforehand.
I was just going to say it was about McLaughlin. I sort of thought it was mainly, I think that one was because I know Jones in the second half wasn't really getting at the left back as much as he was in the first half. Yeah. So I think the idea of putting McLaughlin and Gooch on was you two are going to bomb down this right hand side, because McLaughlin is a lot more attacking minded fullback than Max Power is, and that's why we primarily bought him, I think. There, and then even then, once we'd equalised, you still see it was either McLaughlin, it was either Gooch, or even Power coming out of midfield, and McGeady as well, just trying to get round that right hand side. That was where all of our sort of attacks were coming from in the second half. Maybe that's why McLaughlin got put in.
Yeah, Jacob, who's of course got the same top on as myself today.
What are the odds of that? Honestly, I didn't see the stream.
Great man. You weren't even watching us, but great minds think alike. Anyway, I know you wanted in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the reasoning behind the system he set up with today, Johnson, I think because in the first 45 minutes, I noticed we were playing a lot more long balls than we did, particularly more long balls than we did in that Oxford game on Friday. I don't know whether it was to do with us, potentially Johnson, taking into account the state of the pitch in the first 45 minutes as well. It was a bit wet, but I think when the game started, I think it dried up a bit. So, yeah, that could be taken into account. But then again, when you're playing in this league, you are going to come up against teams where you need to adjust your style of play a little bit to grind out a result. And we managed to do that today. Listen, if you'd offered me a point before kickoff, I would have snapped your hand off, to be honest. So, yeah, a decent result, I'd say.
Yeah, and I would echo that. I said 4 points over Easter weekend. We beat Oxford, and then we avoid defeat against Peterborough. We leave ourselves in a very, very good position now going into the last 8 games. But just very briefly, Conrad, for me, I would give it to Dion Sanderson. Have you got a man of the match?
Ooh, actually, I hadn't even thought about this there.
Not many names stand out. It took a bit of thinking to come to Sanderson. No one really sprung to mind.
Got a Jacob first. I'm going to have a think.
I agree. Was it Dion Sanderson? I mean, he had Clark Harris in his back pocket today. I mean, that's the Clark Harris. He was the main threat going into the game. Hardly had a sniff, to be honest. And I think he needed the substitutions that came on to at least try to get him into the game. But even the centre-back partnership of 09 and Sanderson together was just too strong. But Sanderson marking Clark Harris today, yeah, fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you how I came to the conclusion of Sanderson, and that was because I thought it was two good defences that kept us. I mean, Sky gave it to their centre half. I think it was
Beavers.
Way!
Fighting like Beavers.
I wanted to give it to one of our defenders, but I just remember a couple of mistakes from 09, in particular one where he scored no goals. That was how I came to Sanderson. Conrad, have you thought I'm on a match?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on Sanderson. The only one I could give it who isn't a defender is maybe McGeady, just because in the second half, he was all the way. Every time we were getting in the final third, he was always involved in it there. He had a free kick that just went wide earlier on, and then, of course, he scored the goal. He just seemed to be sort of dragging us forward a bit. So I'll probably agree with Sanderson, but I'd give a little nod to McGeady as well.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you to everyone for watching. Please leave a like on the review. If you haven't enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't as well already. We are closing in on 6,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who joined us for our watch along today and everyone who's watched the review. We'll be back on Thursday, I believe, next to talk about this game in detail, as well as look forward to our next game next Saturday. But for myself, Jack Dodds, from the man in the same top, Jacob Kirkbride, and from Conrad Lee, thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you on Thursday. Take care and bye-bye.